an interesting issue is if one were to introduce assisted suicide and to impose restrictive criteria as to when it can be invoked, be it terminal illness of 6 months, some definition of unbearable suffering, age restrictions, anything of that kind, then there is the potential for an Article 14 argument to say that's a discriminatory application of the right to assisted suicide. And that's where what's described as a slippery slope argument has sometimes come into play, because once you introduce, it's called crossing the Rubicon in some respects, once you cross the Rubicon or introduce a system, you then have to have a system which is applied in a non-discriminatory fashion. Yep. And then you then have to think about, well, what is my basis for restricting it to people who have 6 months to live versus 7, or people who don't have a terminal illness but are subject to unbearable suffering, or children, as you've indicated. And that's a very difficult, in my view, additional thing to think about when you're selecting your criteria.
And mental illness now has been added to the list as well, hasn't it? It's being explored in Canada as an addition. Because if it's being denied in certain circumstances, then people have the right to say this should be extended in all circumstances.